Hey, welcome to another lesson at the Silver Studio. Today we're going to be creating a value scale, talking about how to create our lightest highlights, our lightest tints to our darkest shades using pencil. Enjoy. Value scale is a visual guide showing the range from light to dark. Could also say it's a range showing the lightest tint to the darkest shade. First, you need to create the grid or the boxes that you are going to use to show your range from lightest to dark. You can create a decent value scale with a regular, normal pencil, but if you do have access to drawing pencils of different hardnesses, I find it's best to start with your middle, your HB. Not the lightest, not the darkest, right in the middle. As we go to the darker shades on our value scale, we're going to want softer pencils, pencils that are going to leave more on the paper. Those are going to have a number next to the letter B. So 2B would be the next step after HB, that middle tone, right? It'll be 2B, 4B, 6B. So we're going to create the next few cells of our value scale using different B pencils. As we move towards the lighter tints on our value scale, we are going to go under the HB to the H pencils. So again, it'll start with, actually here, we have an H, then it'll go to 2H, 4H. I haven't used pencils at a higher number than a 4H because at that point, there's not really much showing up. These are lighter pencils. These are great for starting a sketch, for planning a drawing, for figuring out where those highlights in your artwork are going to go. So once you've created your value scale, a great idea is to practice, figuring out how you were going to create those highlights to those darkest shadows. And a great way to practice that is with the sphere. After you figure out the direction that your light is coming from, a good place to start is by marking where those different values are going to fall on that sphere. You can see that I'm doing that here, just lightly shading out those different sections after I figured out where my light is coming from. Now I'm filling in each of those sections that I just marked off. You can use your finger to blend, you can use a paper towel, or you can get a blender from a supply store. Often drawing pencils will come with them if you get a set. I am being careful not to get too dark too quickly because it's a lot easier to make a shade darker than it is to get it lighter, especially if you're creating those darker shades with those B pencils. Now where I'm shading now is going to be dark. No light is reaching the backside of that sphere, so it is going to have some of the darkest shades. I'm going to get it darker by layering and not by just pressing hard on the pencil. Pressing hard on the pencil is A, going to make it really hard to erase if you need to, and B, going to indent the paper, going to create a texture that you might not want. If that's what you're going for, great. Otherwise, be careful of how hard you're pressing with the pencil. Do not forget casting shadows also. Your objects aren't just going to have shadows on them, they're also going to cast shadows. So when you are practicing your value scale, or if you are teaching this lesson to students, make sure to include that part of the lesson. How long is that shadow going to reach? What shape is that shadow? Checking where that light source is coming from. You can create guiding lines from your light source to show you exactly where that's going to reach. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson at the Silver Studio. I hope I have helped you in creating your value scale and shading in some small way. If you or your child are interested in taking a virtual class where you would do more of this, if you're from the ages of 7 to 10, I have an introduction to drawing class. If you're from the ages of 10 to 14, I have a drawing and painting class. If you're from the ages of 14 to 17, I'm going to have a portraits and figure drawing class coming out. And all of those classes are going to talk about shading and value and depth and light and dark and all of that. Go ahead to esilverstudio.com to see what classes I have coming up soon, and spaces are limited. They're small classes, so a lot of personal attention, and it's going to be great. So please check it out, sign up, and I hope to see you there. Thanks.